There are, in the history of television, so many shows that were good. They were put together by excellent people, directors, writers, actors. They did not succeed, these shows. And not because they were bad. Again, high quality people working on them. Sometimes things just don't work out. And the results can be, and I'm kind of going overblown on this, I'll admit, but sometimes the results can be tragic. We're going to find that out as we watch one of those shows, forgotten for no good reason, overlooked for no good reason. Luckily, it's out there on the internet and we can watch it here on Retro Rangers. I present to you our second episode. This one is not Ghost Story, not starring Sebastian Cabot. It is The Circle of Fear, and we're going to do it right now.
Five, four, three, two, one, fire!
Welcome, Retro Rangers. It is time yet again for us to welcome your commander and, frankly, one of the finest men I have ever served with, and I've served with some very fine people. Ladies and gentlemen, it is our Chief Science Fiction Officer, Commander Joe Townsell. Mr. Townsell, welcome aboard as always.
As always, Captain John, thank you so much. You are too kind. I am proud to serve.
You were the one who suggested that we go to this series, and I have to admit, this is perfect for our show because you mentioned it and I went, wait, that kind of sounds familiar, but I've never seen it. Why would that sound so familiar? What Joe pitched was that we do an episode of Ghost Story, a series that I would not have remembered off the top of my head even existed. And when I went and researched it, I found out it was a show that I did watch because Ghost Story became a show called Circle of Fear. And Joe, I figured out why I saw it. Why did I see Circle of Fear, but I didn't see Ghost Story? And I was very young at the time that this was on the air. So I think this episode is 1971. I can confirm for us. Hang on. Takes a little while for the... Oh, I'm sorry. 1972. From 1972 to 1973. Now, the last part of the series, well, we'll get to that part of the story. But anyway, I figured out why I've seen this show. It's because this is when my older brother started babysitting us.
And of course, being a great babysitter, he put you in front of a horror show.
Exactly. Well, here's the thing. There was never a babysitter that we had who could be talked into letting us watch a horror show. No one. And my brother was, he's one of those people in your life where you go, well, I think I'm a fan of Star Trek, but he's a bigger fan. You know, I think I like, American-made muscle cars, but he likes them more. So my brother Peter was very much like a big figure in my life. Obviously, my big brother, 3 years older, and he really loved science fiction and horror. So he would let us watch this show, and this show I never found particularly horrifying. I mean, it's almost funny in ways to call it a horror show, though that's what it was. Right. So I don't recall ever seeing the episode we're going to watch tonight. And to give Mr. Townsell credit, I don't recall. I barely recall that Sebastian Cabot was the host of a horror show. But Joe, how did you remember this? How is this part of your knowledge? Because you're younger than I am, frankly.
Well, not by much, but I'll take it. And to answer your question, John, I have to give all due credit to the great god of the internet, YouTube, in that I blatantly, admittedly just stumbled upon it recently.
Wow.
I have no original memory of it myself at all.
Wow.
Probably
Wow.
because it was overshadowed by a simultaneous run of Night Gallery in my mind.
Right.
If I ever did see it originally.
Yeah.
And as terms of giving credit where it's due, let's give your brother Peter credit right now for planting the seed of a repressed memory that will come back to haunt you this week on Retro Rangers.
Well, it all happens at the same time too, which is kind of beautiful, because when you suggested it and I went out and researched it, one of the episodes that's notable out of this entire series is an episode called, oh my gosh, I know this, Earth, Air, Fire, Water. Yes. And it is a script. And you didn't know this existed, did you, Mr. Tazzle?
No, it's new to me so far.
DC Fontana and Harlan Ellison are the co-writers of this teleplay.
Really?
Yes. And DC Fontana and Harlan Ellison, as most Star Trek dorks like these two right here on your screen, as most of those fans know, they wrote is it not one of the greatest episodes of Star Trek, City on the Edge of Forever?
Well, I mean, I think just about every Trek fan would agree it is definitely one of the greatest. Many would consider it to be the greatest of the original series.
I mean, if you were to just, hit the table in front of me and say, decide which is the greatest episode of Star Trek, this would easily be in my top 3.
I think it's fair.
I have my favorites. Mirror is one of my absolute favorites of all time. But you do have to kind of know the show before you can really appreciate that one. But this is just a great writing team. DC Fontana. She, of course, wrote a lot of Star Trek. Big voice in the animated series. Just really a real pioneer too, because obviously a female screenwriter in the late 60s, that's something special. That's unusual, that she can get past all the gatekeepers and be recognized for being as great as she was. So we're going to watch that episode really soon. I do want to kind of whet the appetite for this piece of history. And so here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to start with, who is Sebastian Cabot at the moment that this show is being made? So Sebastian Cabot has done this series called Family Affair. Let's see if I can.
If you can't find a clip, I'll be happy to hum the theme song.
I don't know. That's not an easy theme song.
Oh,
wow. You got it. No, that's it. That is it.
You just have to imagine the swirling jewels in the background here.
Yes, exactly. All right.
Here we go.
Here we go. Oh, hang on. Everybody gets to see my ugly YouTube interface.
Then Ali Baba stood before the great cave and intoned the terrible words, "Open sesame."
What's the matter, Mr. French? What happened then?
On second thoughts, Buffy, I think we'll read Winnie the Pooh.
Now that's super adorable because and everybody can
I think Buffy and Jody were the original reactor to videos.
Hang on, I gotta get rid of this. Let's do this.
I don't know if this looks interesting too.
I just want folks to know we are not actually being sponsored by this game. How do I get rid of it? Oh, I can't believe I've forgotten how to do that. Stop screen. There we go. There's a button that said stop screen. So it was a very cute sitcom. You watched Family Affair as a child, did you not?
Oh,
Joe?
absolutely. As a child and later on in reruns. I mean, it's one of my perennial favorites, I have to say.
Oh, I see. Now that's awesome. I didn't know that. It is a very sweet show and was a huge part of my childhood because it was on every morning in syndication. So,
Mhm.
being a real like TV junkie that I've always been, my friends and I used to do an imitation of Brian Keith, who plays Uncle Bill.
Yes.
Brian Keith, of course, very famous actor and quite a famous drinker as well. And we would do our imitation of how hungover Uncle Bill always was. Oh, I don't know, Jody. Just go down. Just do your
Mr.
best
French,
in
shut those
school.
dang kids.
And Mr. French was, of course, a great character because he was a gentleman's gentleman.
Yes.
He wasn't a butler. He was a gentleman's gentleman. And of course I love, as a child, I love accents and so an Englishman, especially a very posh Englishman like Sebastian Cabot, I just enjoyed him immensely. I think I probably never thought I could grow a beard. And I'm like looking at myself on the screen right now, like, you could have played Mr. French.
Remakes are all the rage right now, John.
Well, they did do a remake on, I think it was the WB.
Oh,
If not
that I
UBN.
did not know.
Yes, they did. And Gary Cole played Uncle Bill. And Mr. French, oh, you're going to love this. Mr. French was played by
Tim Curry.
Tim Curry.
I do remember this, now that you're talking about it.
And he was great. He was great. Tim
Yeah.
Curry, always great. I love him as villains. I just totally have always dug him as a performer. But villains, I mean, that's really where he is. But the fact that he could do this very sweet, Mr. French with these two kids, oh, it's adorable.
I have to admit, though, that one of the reasons I watched Family Affair later on in life, like into my preteen years, was that I did have a little bit of a crush on Sissy, too.
Oh, you're not the only one. I mean, me, but also when I told people we were doing this, I can't tell you how many people were like, well, like, yeah, I used to watch Family Affair, but only because I had a huge crush on Sissy.
Then I'm in good company, especially with you, Captain.
Well, and of the many features of the show, we were quite young when we were watching it, so I liked the kids because I was a kid, and kids do enjoy seeing kids on TV, especially in those days, because it was kind of rare. And I also remember like Mrs. Beasley was like some of the first like show merchandise that I remember kids really wanting. Like,
She was a very popular doll.
he really was a hugely popular toy. It was a relatively successful show. I mean, I can't remember how many seasons it was on, and
Yeah.
maybe somebody can
4 or
remind
5
us.
at least, I think. Yeah.
Yeah, it did go. That show was a goer. So Sebastian Cabot is very well known for that job. Now, when the show ends, he gets another job, and Sebastian Cabot becomes the host of Ghost Story, but it's not literally Sebastian Cabot. So here we go. We're going to share screen again. I'm going to show you. This is the very first moments of the third episode of Ghost Story. And I do want to say we're talking a lot about Ghost Story, and then we're going to watch an episode of the show that it was rebranded as Circle of Fear. But we haven't discussed this, Joe, but we're definitely coming back to Ghost Story at some point here on
Oh,
Retro
absolutely. But we couldn't start the topic by watching a Harlan Ellison, Dorothy Fontana written episode of Circle of Fear without at least talking about Sebastian Cabot.
You
Because he's
got
a
it.
huge part of this series overall.
Exactly, a big part of this series. He totally launched this series, and you'll see how and why. So here we go. This is This is my Sebastian Cabot. Oh, nope. Picked the wrong one. You know what? Let me show you this one anyway. This is a little, there was an entertainment reporter. I shouldn't do that with air quotes because this is from her archive and it's absolutely lovely that she did this. Bobby Wygant. And let's just take a look at this. It's a very short little 3-minute moment of her interviewing Sebastian Cabot about Ghost Story.
All right.
Sebastian Cabot, what kinds of ghost stories are you going to have on this new series on NBC?
Kinds? Oh,
Yes.
well.
Well, I mean, will they be like modern day things, or will you be going back into the Middle Ages? Or
Oh, yes. No, well, it's hard to say. They'll be modern, contemporary things. We won't, per se, as a story, go back, say, to old Salem days or something. But it might be you. It might be you, for example, and your husband walking around or staying somewhere, and there's a ghost trying to possess you or him. Now we might see that person, naturally ghost-like in old clothes. But everything else will be contemporary. Could happen to you, could happen to you, could happen to your neighbor, could happen to anybody. And they're basically contemporary, and they're very close to true, an awful lot of them.
are you personally interested in ESP?
Close to true. Okay.
No, not terribly, because I don't think I possess ESP. I've had many occasions of, as they say in French, the déjà vu, or as we always say, I've been here before.
Mr. French can speak some
Feeling I've
French.
been in a strange
That's right.
town,
Well, François.
and all of a sudden I want to go somewhere, and I say, right now, I turn left down this corner, there'll be a little notion store on the right where I can get that, and it's there. I don't know why I know it, whether it's how or what, whether somebody had mentioned
He's
it
psychic
vaguely to
about
me
where he
many
buys
years
his
before,
snacks.
or whether it is
Yes, I have to say this interview is giving me one reason to watch
thing
this new
goes,
ghost
a
story
thought from
series. And
somebody
that's
else
Sebastian Cabot.
represented my head during my,
Well,
my birth.
What's great about it too is I think you can see how much he's lost weight
Or do you think
from when he
bound to be
was
an
Mr.
explanation
French.
for every haunted house?
Not to mention, I do see a little,
I don't know about the
little
haunted
more
house.
speltness here. Yes.
I think houses have great personalities, and sometimes I really
Us
think
big
they're
fellas
alive,
too. When we
and,
lose weight,
life
we
of
get a
their
little
own.
baggy under the eyes.
It's hard to say. I don't think, honestly, that there is such a thing really as a ghost, or something that wanders around at midnight. Captain Cook appears, or something like that.
Oh, that's the best part right there.
Quite see that. But I think they have a sort
I
of
love what a
personality that
flirt he is
the old
too.
one,
Like
not
he's
modern.
he's happy to be there with Bobby.
Maybe a feeling. You see, what I believe in the after death thing is not a soul.
Look at the size of that lavalier mic.
You see the pictures on movies. Somebody lies down, dies, and out of itself rises itself. And there's a facsimile floating away. I believe that maybe there is a thoughts being electrical, that they're floating around.
Science
Maybe
from
sometimes
Sebastian
some of these
Cabot.
thoughts owners of the house
Paranormal
Parasite.
remain
information
in the
here.
house, and they manage to transfer to you, giving you that feeling of, what's going on. And that's what I believe in.
Sebastian, we hope that you have a marvelous success with this new series, Ghost Story, and we personally are looking forward to seeing it. And thanks for talking with us today.
Oh, thank you, ma'am, for having me.
How
What a
cute.
charmer.
Absolutely. Both of them. Bobby Wygant, I have to say, I might even go look for other shows that she's covered just so we could use more more clips from her, because what a delightful little gal she is.
Without looking at IMDb to see check the running dates, did this come after Family Affair? Did they overlap?
Okay.
Because if we're looking at something from 72,
yeah.
maybe Family Affair ended just prior to this starting.
I think it did, though I should be able to tell you that for absolutely certain. Oh my gosh. 1966 to 1971.
There you go.
He was Giles French on Family Affairs. So here we are in 1972.
He stepped right into this one.
Stepped right from that into this. And I'm going to tell you something very sad. This
Oh,
Ghost Story was his very last TV series.
He died a young man, a very talented man.
He did. He died a few years later. So if what we saw just now was from 1972, and I think it was, he died 5 years later in 1977. Suffered a stroke and then died shortly thereafter in a Canadian hospital. The nice thing about Sebastian Cabot is he was beloved, and this was a very rare bum note, if you will, in his career. This series, Ghost Story. Yeah, so I do want to show you. Let's see. So that was that. Okay, so I do want to show that intro to Ghost Story because it really sets up what Sebastian Cabot was doing, and I think that's worth having a look at before we get into this episode that we're going to be reacting to and reviewing. So let me share the screen, and this would be this one here. Okay. My goodness. There we go.
I'm scared already.
And that's some fancy special effects for 1972, let me tell you.
Yes, I agree.
And it's in color. William Castle. We'll talk about him later because, my God, we could talk for an hour about William Castle. Starring Sebastian Cabot.
The man of the hour tonight.
That is the Hotel del Coronado.
Hello. I'm Winston Essex. Mansfield House. Well, this book is a new addition to our library here. It's about the meaning of dream.
Winston Essex, did you say?
Winston Essex, the only anthology host I can think of offhand that was a character as opposed to just somebody appearing as himself.
Isn't that interesting? It's
Yes.
not like on Twilight Zone, Rod Serling comes out and says, "Hi, I'm Jim Kipperman." Like-
Exactly. Well, Rod Serling, Boris Karloff, another possible examination later on in our series.
Yeah.
Vincent Price
Vincent
hosting a
Price.
very short-lived anthology titled "A Half Hour to Kill"
Oh, wow.
back in the 50s.
So you've got Sebastian Cabot, and I don't know if this is what sold it for him, was them saying, well, you wouldn't be Sebastian Cabot. You'd be playing this character. You'd be Winston Essex. He owns this hotel, the Mansfield House. And Hotel del Coronado, it appears in the movie The Stuntman. It appears in Some Like It Hot. It is a very, very famous hotel. So
Famous also because yours truly, Joe Townsend, has visited Hotel Del many times.
No way. Have you really?
Well, I mean, I lived in San Diego for many years, and
That's right.
we'd visit it when people came to visit, and I actually have stood outside the door of the infamous haunted room at the Hotel Del.
Yes, which is super interesting that they made it a pretend hotel, the Mansfield House, when in fact Hotel del Coronado,
Yes.
has its own ghosts. More than one, I think, but I know they have at least one. All right, so let me show you just a little bit more.
You know, I've often marveled at the extraordinary shape and size and variety of dreams. Those elusive glimpses of things that go bump in the night. And like you, I've wakened in the clutch of a cold fear, something that I can only half remember. Perhaps the stuff of dreams is merely the unfinished business of conscious being taken up by the subconscious.
It's so interesting too that they have this this introduction that's like, I've always been interested in this parapsychology, and it seems to be like this because I don't know if you're a big listener of CBS Radio Mystery Theater, but oh my God, and who's the actor? He's a great actor. Who's he played the president in the Superman movie.
E.G. Marshall.
E.G. Marshall. Oh, thank God I work with Joe Townsend.
If you bring up a reference, I recognize it. I'll spit it out for you, John.
You're like one of the few people out there who can finish my thoughts. I'm so grateful. So yes, there is this very friendly, very personal host played by Sebastian Cabot. Well, let me tell you the sad part of the story now. The sad part of the story is ratings were terrible for Ghost Story starring Sebastian Cabot. Bad ratings. Now, it wasn't really their fault. Joe and I can tell you by being relatively old men that in those days you had 3 networks. You had probably one public station in your area that you would watch.
Yep.
And then maybe 2, if you were lucky, 2 UHF channels. Do you remember 2 when you were a kid?
That's about right in my area. I mean, we basically, where I grew up, we got the LA overflow as far as available stations.
Oh, that's good. That's good.
Yeah, so there were a few independents in there, KTTV and KCOP, and
Yeah.
that later on became lesser networks. But
Yeah.
at that time they were just air reruns of the big 3.
Yeah. And we grew up, my family grew up outside of Boston, and so we had channel 38 and we had channel 56. Not a tremendous variety of things that you can watch, which makes the ratings so important, because nowadays there's so many things you can watch. Ratings are like, ratings are nice, but I mean, really what you want buzz nowadays.
Right.
Back in those days, you could get crushed in the ratings, and that's what happened to Ghost Story. Do you know what Ghost Story was up against on Friday nights in 1972, Mr. Townsend?
Friday night 1972. I don't want to waste airtime trying to figure it out. I'm sure once you tell me, it's going to be real apparent.
This show, I believe this show aired at 10.
Which is a death slot typically anyway.
Yeah. I think the show aired at 10, but it showed late. It was, and one of their lead ups on NBC was Sanford and Son.
Oh,
It was a beloved show. But round about 9 p.m. on CBS, there was the CBS Friday Night Movie. And on Friday nights on CBS, I got to tell you, that's where I first saw The Godfather.
mm-hmm.
Not in 72. It's still in the theaters at that point. But I would see the Gene Roddenberry pilots that he would do, that they would do a 2-hour movie out of it, and just one and done. They would just show it and you'd never see it again, like Earth 2.
Earth 2, actually, yeah. There was Planet Earth, which was a reworking of the name escapes me. I also remember Questor.
Oh my God, yes. But the Friday Night Movie would have all kinds of things. I remember there's a Sally Struthers movie called Aloha Means Goodbye. I had such a thing for Sally Struthers.
Well, who didn't back in the All in the Family days? And you were all Joseph Meathead back then. And but I see where you're going with this, John, is that if Ghost Story got clobbered, the Friday night movie on a major network, that meant that you had a chance to see usually a quality theatrical film if you missed it in the theaters. And that was your last chance for a long time, at that point.
Yeah, there weren't a lot of reruns. And if it wasn't like a theatrical release that had been edited for television, then sometimes it would be a made for TV movie of the week. Which from our childhood, oh my God, movies of the week, they used to be incredible. They were great. Like you wouldn't even know by what the networks have done in the last 20, 30 years in terms of making their own movies. These were amazing. So there was that, but on ABC, there was the wrecking ball of all ratings.
I think that was the name of the show. So I never heard of it.
The wrecking ball. Room 222. Room 222 was the show. That was
another
the show.
crush. Karen Valentine.
And you had Karen Valentine on there, and all of the high school students who were clearly people in their mid-20s. But it was a very hip show because a very diverse cast,
Right.
and up to the minute and controversial story topics, and just Ghost Story didn't have a ghost of a chance.
No, I mean, that against Now and Hip and With It, you got something that's kind of like a little bit aging in terms of concept, and
Yes.
unfortunately, as much as we adore him, the host.
Yeah. No, Sebastian Cabot's no spring chicken. He's no Karen Valentine.
He's no Karen Valentine.
So we've been going for about half an hour here. We're running behind. We got to get to the official thing that we're going to watch, and that would be Ghost Story. After 13 episodes was rebranded. Actually, after 12 episodes, the 13th was the first one that was rebranded as Circle of Fear. Hang on. I'm Casey Kasem. Circle of Fear.
Oh, I love it.
Now, Casey Kasem was, his voice was used. Apparently, his voice has been removed from all of the recordings that we can find, because I think what happened, I'm just guessing, but I think what happened was when they put together the DVD of Ghost Story plus Circle of Fear, they didn't pay Casey Kasem what he wanted.
Oh.
Therefore, they pulled his voiceover from the show. But there should be a Casey Kasem voiceover on this show. Let us begin watching the episode. And, this is for review purposes and reaction purposes. We're not here telling you we're going to show you the show and we're the right place to do that for you. So if you want to go out and buy this from the people who actually own the rights to show you this, by all means, go do that. I like to I like to encourage people to give money to the people who own the stuff that we're watching. And it's up to you whether or not you do. Totally up to you.
We are happy to promote.
Happy to promote, because really we're just here to rate and review. I'm sorry, to react and review. So we're gonna go to Circle of Fear. There we are. Okay. Hi, I'm Casey Kasem. On with the countdown. Circle of Fear.
Well, we got some Night Gallery vibes here, right off the
Yes. Night Gallery, of course, went for 3 seasons on NBC, and it played on Sunday nights. So this is the Friday night horror show, and it's going horribly. The city.
I expect you're Jack Webb narrating.
The back lot. Give me some gargoyle heads on the closed down shop.
Need some atmosphere here.
This is the 16th episode. It's called Earth, Air, Fire, Water. I'm sorry. My bad.
Is that you, Krista?
Yes.
Disembodied voices, everybody.
Spooky.
Wait.
Restless. Do not dwell on it.
Remember the days of plenty.
Remember the days of plenty.
They were good days.
So, no idea what's going on.
There will be good days
Not
again.
the dusty, spooky still.
So, is that the trunk from Creepshow that has the monster in it? I don't remember.
Oh, no. That's what we need now.
It's not much right now, but it's a place you can do things with.
Did you say 300?
That's the best I can do. What do you think, honey?
Is that Reverend Alden?
Perfect.
Could be. I mean,
I think
we're
so.
gonna see a lot of character actors in these that we recognize. I know this guy has done stuff. I just can't remember who he is. He was more of a 70s guy. By the way, if you can find any of those artisans setups, a great place to buy gifts.
There they are.
There they are. Look at the little dog.
2122 Zero Armantilla. 2120. What's it going to be this time? Arts Center. Arts and Crafts. It's been a lot of things.
All kinds of recognizable faces from the time.
Oh, yeah.
Both of these men.
Some of those religious cults used it for a while. Nobody ever stayed long. Some people don't stay anywhere long. Yeah. Personally, I think it's a lot of baloney. But some people think that place is haunted. I don't buy ghosties and ghoulies and things that go bump in the night. Me neither.
Well, I hope you do, because we got another 50 minutes here. Frank Converse.
John Blackman. The names don't ring a bell at all. The faces do. Isn't that something?
Oh,
Tyne Daly.
Tyne Daly.
Brooke Bundy.
Oh, do you remember Brooke Bundy?
From Next Generation.
No way.
Played,
that's going to be awesome.
She played one of the rotating engineers in season 1.
Oh, that's awesome. Well, that's not Tyne Daly.
No, that's Brooke Bundy. That's not Tyne Daly.
Don't worry. We're not going to spend the whole hour going, that's not Tyne Daly. Nope. And that's not Tyne Daly either. 300 a month, you said.
Hi.
Hi, anybody in charge here?
Yeah, Jake Freeman. He's the chief cook and bottle washer.
Thanks.
I think that was very clever dialogue then.
She said chief cook and bottle washer. Ha ha ha.
How quaint.
There's no bottles. I'm telling you, you can get great gifts at these places.
Could I help you?
Hi, I'm Sam Richards. I just hit town. I saw your posters. I'm looking for a place to set up.
There's Tyne Daly.
What do you do?
I'm a metal sculptor.
Well, we got some room in the back. Can I show it to you?
What's the rent?
$50 a month, room and board.
Must be bargain day.
Later known as Cagney, of course,
Actually, I got a deal
as
from the
Dirty
landlord.
Harry's most interesting partner.
Oh,
It's a
cool.
deal because nobody else wanted it.
Oh, sure. Put the new guy in the haunted section.
Let's clear him out of space back here. Is this all right? Yeah. Around in here? Okay. Let's get at it.
You know, I bet right now they're regretting having had the props people put all that stuff there.
And that's Paul. He's a woodworker. And this is Holly. She does her jewelry.
Hi.
And that's Ellen. She paints. What do you do? I do herbs. I'm an herbalist.
Oh, he's an herbalist, all right.
You can save. Let's put it in the storeroom.
Which means we'll put it all in this storeroom. Jake's a squirrel about saving things.
Waste not, want
Oh, what's this?
Looks like it ought to be full of pirates' gold.
I wonder who left it behind.
Open it. It smells old. Like an Egyptian tomb. Not like any Egyptian tomb I've ever been in. No, really, it's got a strange smell. Holly, you're all imagination.
These hippies and their wild smells.
You just don't trust anybody over 30, okay?
Oh. They found Grandma's jams.
Look away, Marion.
Tyne Daly
Keep your
is
eyes
so
shut.
cute. Cagney, is that you?
Don't rub too hard. Jeannie will pop out. Have the monkey's paw in our hands.
Everybody gets their own groovy jar. Well, I guess I'll take the mincemeat then. Yeah, yeah, I'm into herbs.
And he is hypnotized.
No, I wondered when it was going to come out of my mouth because I watched like the first 5 minutes of this. Tell me this was a half-hour script without telling me this was a half hour script. Oh my God, it's so slow paced.
So this is an hour show, that is what you're saying.
Yeah, I mean, it's
There's
a
30 minutes of story.
Exactly. Thank you. Ah, the commune. Bunch of 33-year-old women and a bunch of 40-year-old men. And Troy McClure.
We got our curly perms going, make us look younger. Just like the Brady guys.
Hey, it always works for me. Actually, it works for me when it's rainy.
You hear that? That's my skull.
There's a lot of smoldering blue eyes at this table.
What's up with you? I don't know. I feel restless. Just uneasy.
We are free. Free as before.
Oh my God.
It is well.
All will be well now.
But how long this time?
Forever.
Does anybody else hear these glasses talking?
Oh, these ghosts are fine until somebody opens up one of those jars and just starts eating what's in it.
Ugh.
Someone comes.
Shh, act like a jar. Oh, it's the sensitive one. Let's torture her mentally.
When is a ghost not a ghost? When it's a jar.
Oh, man. Okay, which of the Star Trek episodes does this remind me of? Is this Gamesters of Triskelion or
The name, the title escapes me. I'm reminded of the one where the beings lived in the big glass spheres.
Right. I
and
don't
tried to take
remember.
over Kirk, Spock, and the Chick of the Week.
Yes.
Someone there?
Someone's unwrapping a candy bar.
Ollie, you all right?
It's all right. I just knocked over a vase. I'll be right up.
Excuse me, the thing flung off by itself. Let's be honest here.
That vase wasn't doing that much. Don't eat any of the potpourri. It has a ghost in it.
Pretty.
How do I know this is going to end up with people being possessed? Well, A, it's 1972. So I believe that's the year or one of the years of The Exorcist. But B, it's the cheapest special effect ever. Just have an actor pretend to be possessed.
No need for elaborate makeup here. No need for split pea soup. No need for head spinning round and round. We got the jars.
Meanwhile, back at the gargoyle heads. Oh, I'm happy to see the dog again.
Oh, don't possess the dog.
And that guy.
And that guy.
Come on, Fido. Here we go. Joe.
Don't stick your head in there.
Morning.
Good morning.
Can I browse?
Oh, please do.
This is a place of business?
Well, hello there. What's in your jaw? Here's our woodworker. His nickname is Sandy. That did not deserve a laugh. Thank you. You're too kind.
Looks like a Miro.
I'm an herbalist. Wink.
Would you like to sample my herbs?
Bad. Oh, nice place you got here. No ghosts, no witches. Oh, no witches, not even a ghoulie. You know,
No
all these
ghoulies.
years is the first time I've ever been in this building. Superstitious? Careful. It's a nice building, nice people. Why don't you buy something? You should just might do that. Take
That's
care.
direct.
See you.
He's wearing one of the early mullets. I don't know if you can see it, but quite long in the back there.
Who's your friend?
Who's your friend? Who's the straight? Who's the normie?
Who's the square?
First sale.
For $5, Time Daily will shape your clay. Hey, everybody gets to hug Time Daily. It's a good day.
It's a good day.
Dinner for six? Yes, spaghetti. Yeah. Spaghetti. Sausage here. Why?
Yeah, put that first dollar on the wall in the frame.
Some architects don't like paintings down to the galleries and see if they'd accept them. I've always been afraid to.
Why, afraid of rejection?
Yeah, I so.
Happens to the best of us, my love.
Some of the galleries display jewelry, don't they? Maybe we could get them to take a look at some of Holly's work. What do you say, Holly?
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 Wait, I'm too busy caressing my glass.
This is what happens in a home that doesn't have television.
Or in a home with television playing Circle of Fear.
Damn it, Holly! That's our cliffhanger. Holly won't stop looking at her jar. Oh, God. I'm terrible. I didn't notice that Retro Tiburon had joined us. Hey, Mario. What's up, pal? Catch it up.
Are these rings for sale?
What the hell's in those jars? Alterbron asks. It ain't Skippy and grape jelly, my friend.
Oh, do you remember? We never used to buy it because my parents were like, no, that's outrageous. But when they would put the peanut butter and the jelly in the same jar.
That was awesome.
It's like goober jelly or something.
It was like goober grape and goober strawberry.
Making me hungry just talking about it.
And it was a great excuse for making the jelly runny and the peanut butter stiff because it was in the same jar.
Wow. Let me see how far we are
Would
into
anyone
this.
like to see a preview of Holly McCoy's new jewelry? Terrific.
15 minutes in, and we've had at least 8 minutes of dialogue.
Getting some bang for our buck here, John.
So, and
what the heck is it?
What the?
That guy went off, got scared. He just went off and became Grizzly Adams. You know? Says, I'm hightailing to the woods, my friends.
Something kind of crazy about a spooky little girl like you. Later, at the communal dinner.
Has anybody seen Holly? I saw her this morning.
Maybe she went for a walk.
She wouldn't take a walk without telling us. She might. She's been acting sort of preoccupied lately.
Hey, dinner's ready.
I'm not sure where my jar is. Hang on.
I feel a need to caress my jaw.
I'm Troy McClure. You may remember me from such safety films as Lead Paint, Delicious but Deadly.
I wonder if they have to use their feet to power their oven to cook dinner. Just like that potter's wheel.
This.
I don't think she'd go off without it.
Why not?
I don't know.
Oh.
People do what they have to do. What's that supposed to mean? Hey, come on, take it easy, Sam.
Take it easy, Sam. Stop asking questions about these jars. Oh, well, more lentil helper for us.
What is it? It's green.
I mean, yeah, he's a leading man right there. Retro T. Barone saying he does look like Troy McClure. Okay. Again with the scary jewelry.
That looks like a Night Gallery prop.
It really does.
Might have been handed down.
So this is 1972. Night Gallery is like halfway into its run, and it is relatively successful at this point. Yes. One reason why they put Ghost Stories / Circle of Fear on NBC.
Jake's turned into some kind of mystic.
People change, Sam. Like shedding skin.
Well, we can't just write her off. Where'd she go? Why?
Doesn't matter, Sam.
What I like is that creepy echo effect.
Oh, yeah.
In our thoughts.
This jar is still full of stones.
I was like, lift up the top of the piano. I'm going to play a few keys on the piano, and then I'm going to start plucking the strings. Bleep, bloom, bleep, bloom, bloom.
Why don't we leave it here on the counter? She'd like that.
Would you just stop messing with her jar? And that's called the 2-minute
glass. You're gonna draw back a bloody stump, buddy.
Oh, hello.
Hello now.
It was just a matter of time before those two hooked up. Jar reaction shot.
Sound effect number 68 from the archives.
Uh-oh.
Sound effects number 69.
Well, she looks happy. Why is this a problem? Later at the sculpture store. So I guess he's doing well with his sculptures.
And
that doesn't look like their
woods. I expect Rod Serena to come out from behind that curtain any second.
Submitted for your approval. A painting we call Smiling Jar.
Everything on the list. You want me to take this upstairs?
I'll do it.
Damn time.
Did you get tired?
I'll get Jake.
Picking that thing open.
She's a really good actor. I'm betting she learned how to do that, how to throw pottery just for this show.
Using the method, in other words.
Doesn't the knife guy kind of look like Johnny Cash in a certain way?
I was thinking more like Chuck Barris.
You wouldn't be wrong. Hey, herb guy. Well,
why is this guy just kind of going from station to station? Checking
Watch it. You can paint. Of course I missed you. But I managed to get some work done while you were gone. What do you think?
Ah! You knew it was going to be scary.
Yeah, I worked on it all morning.
Come on.
Let's take a walk.
Let's paint something happy. Come on.
Haven't been outside, lady. Some sun, some fresh air. Give you a whole new outlook.
Well, I like it here, Sam. We all like it here.
Come on. Come on. Come go.
Sam, mind your business.
What?
He does not like the vibe in
Sam,
this
I don't have
place.
time to go running around with you. I want to finish my
He's disrupting the
painting.
creative process, too.
What's the matter?
I have to work.
I got a gallery to take our work. They even put it in a window.
I don't care.
I keep waiting for somebody to say, "Get out."
Those jars are not doing as much talking as they were at the beginning of the whole thing. So Mario says, "Ooh, that's a cool painting." It is a really good painting, actually. You could sell that thing.
Again, broken record here, but not Gary quality, I think.
Unless we straighten it up again.
What's wrong with time?
Listen to me.
You know, it doesn't take ghosts to make hippies behave like this, it just takes marijuana.
Wonder what's keeping him.
You're still working.
Hey, you three. Dinner.
How come he gets to work and he has to
First
tell
time
the rest of
we
them to
fix
stop?
dinner, nobody comes. Think the word got out?
Hey, it smells terrific to me.
It's kind of hard to miss. Stew.
Sorry, Emily.
It's okay. Shop. Sit down.
How's it going, Sam?
Strange. Kind of developing on its own. I'm like an interested bystander.
Oh.
Aren't Jake and Anna coming up?
I don't know.
Jake? Anna? Come on, dinner's ready.
We're still stoned.
The munchies surely would have kicked in by now.
True enough.
Not that I'm talking from experience,
Oh,
but I'm talking from experience.
You know, Sam, I
red.
think for the first time I'm finally getting somewhere. I mean, everything seems to be getting together on the canvas. I can see it. I can feel it.
It's
That's what
groovy.
it's all about.
My lava lamp is broken.
What do you think?
It's like the Scream, but it shut its mouth.
Beautiful.
That's
Sam?
Chuck. I'm doing my Chuck Barris. That's great. And we're going to be back with more stuff. Yeah,
Next
let me
up,
give
the
you
unknown
a,
comic.
You hear something?
just the voices from the jar. Anything else?
No, nothing.
That dude looks a little bit like the one doctor on St. Elsewhere.
Oh, I wonder.
Don't think it's him, but it just looks like him to me.
I mean,
As well as Chuck Barris and Johnny Cash.
Anna?
I mean, all of these actors surely went on and did other work. This was the golden age of the guest actor.
Yeah. Well, we know Tyne Daly did. We recognized Troy Donahue looked like here. Having gone on to other things.
Did you mean for your herbs to just go out of control like that? Jeff?
Not that we're complaining.
Retro TV Road says, I swear I have one of those jars with instant coffee in it. Maybe I need to toss it. I mean, you might want to toss it just because it's instant coffee. I don't know, man. Totally up to you. But possessed instant coffee, I can't imagine anything worse. Jake? Fat man?
Anna?
Hannah? Her sisters?
You here?
You hear? You heard? Can you dig it? Oh, now Tyne Daly wouldn't have thrown that pot like that. She wouldn't have.
Oh no!
Beard guy, no beard guy. Wow, he can look really evil when he wants.
He also kind of happy to be in there.
And
Must
it
feel
will
good.
fade out on the badly made pot. I'm sorry, Joe. What were you saying?
I said, looked like he's pretty happy to be there. Must feel good.
Oh, wait a minute. We had a line for this one for Mario, which was, looks like a young Louis Anderson.
You still working on that New Life Market? Yeah. I thought y'all moved out. I never see anybody anymore. Place all
Good
run
call.
down again.
I agree.
No, we're still there.
Everything's okay there, huh?
Everything's okay over there? You're all right?
I heard some screams. I just was curious.
Some
concerned.
shrieking?
Just couldn't hack it. We'll be back in business real soon.
Hope so.
Oh,
Take care.
he's a nice neighbor. I love that dog. You can barely see him behind Mr. Schmulligan, but
You think it'll be pivotal to the plot later?
What's the matter? Nothing, just a little
I'm
arthritis.
sure of one thing.
You want
I
some
think
help
this series
with your
gave birth to the
glands?
term
No.
slow burn.
Yeah. Holy
You
cow.
don't need water, they just grow.
Or even, hopefully not slow fizzle. You want to have a payoff at least.
What is it? Huh? Leaves.
What's going on with them bushes?
You know, back in the 70s, they wouldn't trim those.
Hands. Come on, Sam.
Unless he's cultivating.
Could have sworn it. Hey, you better use that imagination at your work, kid.
Anyway, my jar and me are heading over here. Wow. He looks like he's been through it, physically speaking.
Kind of hitching his get along, huh?
What would a hippie do with a leaf?
Hmm.
How would that even be a thing?
Blue on blue.
There wasn't a lot of heavy metal in those days, but they took what they could get.
Hey, that liquid in that jar was moving. You see that, John?
I didn't. I'm Troy McClure. You may remember me from such scholastic films as I'll Take the Alphabet.
Getting late, Paul.
Yeah, Paul. Come on, you're not gonna
Gotta
make
work
your
out here. Would you turn out the lights before you go to bed?
not gonna make your arthritis any better. That's kind of a beautifully framed shot, though. I mean, obviously they have to get the jar in there, but I do love that sort of forced angle they're using.
Well, the jar is hiding in plain sight right now.
It is.
Aztec. Inca. Older.
Uh-oh.
More powerful.
Is he getting like that Neanderthal forehead of possessed guys?
I would argue he already had it, but I do see what you're saying.
He's got a unibrow, it looks like. Which reminds me, I got to trim mine tomorrow.
What are you kidding? Looks great.
He knows us.
Uh-oh.
Knows us. Knows us. He knows us. Knows us. Knows us. He knows us.
Echo. Echo.
You know, when Tyne Daly did her goth phase, it was pretty hot.
I'll have to look that up.
How are they managing to get by without their cook and chief bottle washer?
Or any income for that matter.
Is that what you see?
That's what I feel.
Well, get my hands off you then.
I can only see the top of the mountain.
I like that she keeps doing the same painting over and over. Who are you, Andy Warhol?
Was this a new painting or just...
Or I don't know, maybe it was a reaction shot of that painting.
Maybe the painting's reacting. Like us.
Clearly, the right jar to take was the blue one.
Let's go someplace where we can start over.
Can't do that.
So stifling here. We gotta get out of here.
I can't, Sam. I've got to stay and finish my work. You can understand that.
You know, considering the slow pace of this episode, they kind of glossed over the romance, didn't they?
They did. Like, they just... Later, they were in love. What? Nice soap opera angle right there.
Stay with me, Sam.
Stay with me. Get possessed too.
Apparently they get by on very little.
I think Mario came in late. He missed that one sale.
There was one sale, Mario. There was one sale. Like $5 or something. Mario is asking, so is this supposed to be a store? I haven't seen one customer. Uh-oh.
Where's your dog?
That's the real estate guy.
Oh, that's real estate guy.
Anybody here?
What's he? Oh, no.
Anybody here? Sure.
Sure, me, Troy McClure.
Help it? I'm Harry Bell. Oh, the landlord. You came for the rent. That's a good guess. Yeah.
Oh, that's Dabs Greer, all right. Reverend Alden.
From what show?
Little House on the Prairie. Something you'd be doing just a few years from now.
You won't mind if I
Or from
call
this
the
point.
bank to verify this check, will you?
No. Left it up to someone else to make a phone call. They took those out.
Take pictures. Look at this place. It's a worse mess than when you moved in.
You gosh darn hippies.
What kind of filth you live in now? But let me tell you something. You move out, you're going to be hit with a big cleaning bill. Hey, do you hear me?
I'm a Southern guy and I'm angry. You better listen. There, I'm going to go be in a couple of Burt Reynolds movies.
Not the same even dipper guy as we knew in the Reverend. My goodness.
Oh, tortilla chips, you just don't make me happy anymore. Well, I'm going to put this over here on my propane and my propane accessories.
That's better.
Oh, empty trunk, you understand me.
What's this? A
Wait a
false
minute.
bottom?
Didn't check that out on day one? I don't know about you, but I check for false bottoms on everything when I move in someplace.
Absolutely.
What are you doing, Sam?
There's anything else in here?
I don't think you ought to bother with this.
Why not? Nobody else wants it.
We've already got like 10 possessed jars to deal with. Come on.
Oh, a book. Well, that'll clear things up. Oh, a CD. Well, it's 1972, so that's no good to us. Oh, stuffed lobster.
Props from the Evil Dead.
Oh.
What is it?
Stuff used in witchcraft.
Witchcraft?
Somebody's supposed to practice black magic here. A long time ago.
Well, somebody's smart right about now.
Nobody's practicing black magic here now.
Barry the K's with us. He says, "Where's the 8-track?"
He's right, Sam. Come on.
Retro Tiburon says, "This brunette is pretty, though." Wow,
Listen, we don't want the stuff we don't need. I'm going to throw it out.
Well, I'm going to chuck this stuff out. How dare you?
Oh, my. Starting to turn on each other.
What's the matter with you? Are you crazy?
Leave it alone.
Oh, damn.
My goodness.
I'll make him understand.
Didn't realize Chuck Barris was that strong.
Hey, when there's a bad act, he gets pretty violent now.
I mean, I've seen
That gong
people
won't do.
seen people hit the gong, but I've never seen Chuck grab a hammer.
I'm still wondering who's bleeding to death now because he stabbed that voodoo doll. Somebody felt that somewhere.
Did you see the seat of his pants? Dude's got to do some laundry.
Sam, you can't throw away this trunk. It's got to stay here. Don't you see that?
Why?
It's got to stay. It's the source, Sam.
The source.
We got to put our junk in the trunk.
What you gonna do with all that junk? Yes, Jar, I know. I know, Jar, I know.
Oh, there's our friend.
Finally, my favorite actor in this whole thing. I mean,
But this
Yeah,
doesn't bode well. He's sniffing around, sniffing for trouble. He's going to find it.
Barry the K says, I think she said sauce, you know? Wait a minute. Are those vines moving on their own? Oh, don't you touch that dog. Oh, you do not touch that dog.
Shut up, dog. You shut up. The vines are moving toward me.
I really should have checked this on doesthedogdie.com first.
No.
Oh, no.
Not the death howl.
I think they did something bad to the dog.
Coming up, Paul? I'll have some soup on in a few minutes.
I can't leave my work.
It's got dog flesh in it.
Come on.
Dog and noodle.
I don't think I can make the steps anymore.
Please.
We'll bring something down to you.
I'm torturing this piece of clay. Just let me alone.
It gets cold down here at night since they turned the heat off. Come on, help me out.
Let me set down my blue jar for a moment.
You sure?
When will they all
Of course he
discover
sure
the
said.
hideous, sinister secret? They're all just giant suppositories.
I made you a spot roast. This is Barry Corbin. Oh, damn.
That's the best one.
That's the best one. Well done, Barry. A spot roast. Oh, that's terrible. Yes, I'm working on this. I've been clawing eyes into this piece of clay for a long time now.
Worried about Paul.
I'm
Just
worried
don't show
about
us a
your
possessed
jar.
dog. Those are the worst.
His arthritis all of a sudden. I don't understand. He's a young man. He never had a problem before.
Just work. Sweating into what he's
Yeah, I
doing.
told you it was moving.
That doesn't follow.
Nothing else matters.
Is that the way you really feel? Nothing else matters except your painting.
Well, I mean, that and this jar.
Getting so close, Sam. I can see it.
Just dump the slime in the sewer. Let the Ghostbusters deal with it already.
Can't get it on the canvas.
Whoa.
Retro Tiburon says, so why are they carrying these jars around like Paul Bearer again? That is a deep WWF cut right there, and it is delicious. And I think it's the same reason, which is there are souls in the jar or something. Come on, Blue Jar, let's go solve some mysteries.
Girlfriend's looking pretty gnarly there, buddy. Got some Linda Blair vibes going.
Where have they been sitting? Have you seen how dusty their butts are?
Left without telling us.
You finished
Well, this guy got knocked on his ass a minute ago. So it's
Well, he did, actually. That's true.
He finished it. What's the point
He
of
should
leaving
be
it
pretty.
behind?
He is pretty dirty, though.
Point is to finish it.
It's hideous, but you got to finish it.
Alan, we should leave too.
No.
Have you looked at yourself in the mirror lately? You've lost weight. You look like you haven't slept in weeks.
It doesn't matter.
And the makeup people made that.
Will you leave when it's done?
Of course.
Sure. Leave when it's done. Yeah.
Okay, who's in here?
Oh.
But see, they like it. They're smiling.
They're very happy inside their jars. I don't know why it's a problem. Can someone hold the cameraman still? Why did we let this guy do camera when he showed up so drunk? Ellen! Now she's going to dance with the audience.
All great painters sign with their first name, don't they?
Pablo.
A little girl on girl action here.
Oh. Why would I buy this painting? Well, the artist did make out with it after she finished it. The artist, Ellen? Yes, Ellen.
The Ellen.
You notice they never changed their clothes. He's
Kind of
wearing
like
that
Gilligan's
necklace.
Island, huh?
Alan, what do you think?
Ellen? Ellen?
Alan?
Yeah, check the jar.
Ellen.
So is he the only one left?
Ellen.
Ellen, are you here?
Maltese Falcon, what do you think?
You're in the foreground after all.
You're very important as a shot.
Oh my.
That's odd. She must be laughing with her eyes. You can tell that, like, when they were shooting that the beard guy was like, I'm going to be as sexy as I can be.
And he succeeded.
Tyne Daly playing Susie Sue.
You know, Troy, you might as well just hightail it now. Nobody left to save, buddy.
Oh, here come the.
Now, what's the connection with the plant in the jars?
Well, I guess that is that particular jar's superpower.
Oh, okay.
Can grow that ivy. I wonder about this painting as a heartbeat.
Now she's in her own painting.
Oh, good heavens. Look around my camera. What the? I know it's weird, but it is an original Ellen. Ellen!
Which side's big, too.
I'm telling you, she's got that that Andy Warhol thing.
I can almost go into this painting.
Mario says beard guy is almost as sexy as the brunette. I agree. I agree. Damn, Ellen. How'd you end up in that mustard?
They do look like condiment jars too, don't they?
They do.
Red,
They
yellow,
do.
green.
Is that why Troy McClure is still with us? Because his is blue and we can't figure out what food it is?
Yeah. Little boysenberry syrup, perhaps. Ah, my sculpture. Oh, I love to caress it.
Barry says, all my combs are ruined.
And he depends on them a great deal.
That's the best thing I've done.
I must join with it.
Did this guy not become possessed because he's so boring? Like the evil spirit went into him. He's like, oh, there's nothing in here.
Man, all I see is cobwebs.
Oh!
Whoa, hello. What the heck is that? Looks like Dr. Doom.
From the first movie. Wait a minute, my face isn't a metal sculpture. Perhaps that mirror lies. Nope. Still the same guy who's been doing. Oh God, what's his name?
I see.
Must
I
have been
know.
seeing things.
Still
Looks like
here,
I've been
aren't
seeing all these jars.
Aren't you?
He knows us. Knows
Look at
us.
something else. You've been changed.
He knows us. Knows us. Knows us.
Whoa! Now we only had one blue jar, so if he missed, the whole thing would be ruined. My grandma's soaps in the bathroom are laughing at him.
Even the weeds laughing at him.
Or as Barry the K said, talk about a root cellar. Kevin Pollak. Nancy from Heart. Warhorse. The dispensary.
Not gonna get me.
Oh, God's got me.
Oh no! He got tripped by the ivy. This is so bad. He's being attacked by the chuckle patch, as Barry says. Yeah, sexy beard guy. Don't leave. It's only $300 a month.
He knows us.
Or the rent was so cheap.
He knows us. He knows us.
He knows us.
So long, evil hippie art.
Wait a minute. He can't get out, so what? We're reaching the key now, dude.
How is the metal sculpture burning again?
I don't know, but he screwed himself out of his security deposit getting back. Reverend Owens gonna be pretty pissed.
So he's burning the art, and the artists are screaming. Yeah, that's artists. Don't burn their art.
Burn, baby, burn. Now, I want to know what happened to the dog.
What's going on? What happened?
Where's my dog?
Hey, you all right?
I never bothered learning your name.
Look out. See the smoke. I call the fire department. Run away. Come on.
I'm the only one here being paid to say lines.
How soon will they?
How's Silver Lake?
I don't know.
It's a lovely
5
place.
minutes,
What are you doing?
Be all over. But then.
We were lucky to get out.
Yeah.
Not so much your cohorts.
Wait a minute. No!
Ah! Didn't quite make it.
That's it. Oh my God, that's it. The end. Holy cow. Oh
my.
Okay. This is
I
crazy.
told you.
Well done. Well
Thank you,
done.
sir.
Oh
Hard to
man.
believe. I mean, I
Well-
don't want to knock someone's work as fellow writers, of course, but
Of course.
DC Fontana, Harlan Ellison, and Richard Matheson were involved in this.
Oh man. Now, why would we know Richard Matheson, Mr. Townsend? I do recognize the name.
Oh, Richard Matheson, my goodness. We know him from many episodes of the original Twilight Zone. And we know him for many of his books, which related into very popular movies such as I Am Legend.
Oh, yes. Yes.
Big Time Return, Somewhere in Time, etc.
Oh, wow. And William Castle, the executive producer, was also a producer of Lady from Shanghai and Rosemary's Baby.
There you go. I knew I recognized him for a very specific reason. That's it.
He also had an extremely entertaining career as a director and as a huckster to sell his movies. And if you ever saw the film, oh my God, it's Joe Dante, I think, Matinee, starring John Goodman.
Yes.
Again, we will watch Ghost Story. That was the Circle of Fear episode. We'll go back. We'll watch one of the Ghost Story episodes on this show at some point, a couple months down the road, I think. And we'll talk more about William Castle because, oh my God, what a fascinating guy. And yes, as you point out, Richard Matheson is story editor. He's helping shape these shows. So how do you think this one managed to get so far off the rails?
Well, I'll tell you, it reminds me of something. Speaking of Richard Matheson and the original Twilight Zone, as you recall, for one brief season, the 4th season, Twilight Zone was an hour-long show.
It was, yeah.
And those episodes, except for 1 or 2 exceptions, were pretty poor because they were so plodding and so slow paced. And you pegged at the beginning, John, this was probably a decent 30-minute episode swelled out to an hour.
I can only guess at these things, but they're telling us that DC Fontana and Harlan Ellison get together, and she writes the teleplay, which is very much, from her skill set. She's a great script writer. But I just can't help but think it was like a 2-minute conversation that she turned into a script. Hey, look, it's one of those craft shops over there, those craft malls. Yeah. What if all those people became possessed? Wouldn't that be something? Oh, Harlan, you're a genius. $2,000, please. And
Harlan Ellison, would of course did such great work. Of course, in one of our favorite Star Trek episodes, City on the Edge of Forever.
Right.
One thing this particular episode of Circle of Fear did lack, fortunately, was the rumored Scotty giving a crewman, drugs. Scene. But Ellison would go on, of course, to write tremendous fiction.
Yeah,
I won't say science fiction. He would bristle at that.
Yeah.
And he would go on to shape the new Twilight Zone in the 80s.
That's right. That's right. It was funny because I had been going through his bibliography, and he wrote for everybody. He wrote all kinds of stuff. He did write a few novels and novellas, but a lot of short stories.
Yes.
Let's see. For I Must Scream and I Have No Mouth. Oh, I should have this in front of me. I'm guessing at these titles is terrible, but
two of his stories were made into 80s Twilight Zones. That would be Paladin of the Last Hour, which was one of the really exceptional early episodes of that revival.
Right on.
And late in the series, Crazy is a Soup Sandwich, one of the best titles of a story ever,
which was awesome. And I didn't realize that the mid-80s Twilight Zone became a syndicated show after it left. I think it was on CBS.
Yes. The story behind that is that they were so certain that the new version would be such a success that they committed to X number of episodes from day one.
Yeah.
Well, then unfortunately the show tanked, but they had to fill out those episodes. So they put it into first run syndication to round out the package. And
that's a successful property right there. If you can get to syndication, you win in television. That was traditionally how it went. I mean, nowadays with streaming, when any good show can last 2 seasons or just one, back in the day when you had to make your money, syndicating, getting out to smaller stations, as we were talking about earlier, the UHF and the independent stations, that was a big part of it. So what can we draw from all of this? I will say this. I'm very pleased that Barry Korbman says this is so damn fun. It is.
Great, Barry.
It is. So we could
We're
draw
having
that.
a great time. I'm glad you're joining us.
And really, in the early 70s, using the rules that are handed down to you by a network, there's a certain amount of gore you can't show. There's a certain amount of, suggestion that you use to get the scares going. Do you think, Joe, if you had been a grown-up and had watched that back in the day, would it have scared you at all?
Looking back, and as an adult, I don't know, being scared might be too strong of a word, but I think I would have been more intrigued and even mesmerized by the subject matter. There were limitations, and not just in terms of what they could show and what they could or could not say, but you have the evil television format, meaning that you got to fill that hour.
Yeah.
That's why the original Night Gallery format was probably a better approach. And this was the format taken by the Twilight Zone revival, in that you have an hour of television, but you tell 2, maybe 3 stories of the appropriate length to tell that story.
Right. Yes. And one of the interesting things that happened with Night Gallery is they started doing that. They were an anthology within an anthology.
Yes.
And each episode would have more than one story in it. And that's awesome. We'll be showing some of those stories, and our show won't go as long, and that'll be great. I'm looking forward to that already. But one of the things that did happen with Night Gallery, and Rod Serling complained quite publicly about this, was Night Gallery would do kind of funny little knockoff sketches, little blackouts, as they're called in the improv and sketch business, and that was just the tone that they were going for. Now, certainly Rod Serling was not the guy in control of Night Gallery. I believe. Correct me if I'm wrong, but I'm pretty sure he was.
He was essentially just the host and occasional story contributor.
Yes, yeah, and that's great, and he really did help the show be a success. But he didn't like that they tended towards being more comedic and more entertaining, and being kind of silly. And we'll embrace some of those episodes. I can already think of one where Bill Bixby is being chased through a castle by body parts that are just crawling on the floor. I love that episode.
I have some thoughts on that, John, which will bring us back to relevance on Circle of Fear.
Oh, good.
What could have been, in my opinion. When Twilight Zone was canceled by CBS in 1965, ABC wanted to pick it up. But CBS then and always will own the rights to the Twilight Zone concept and title. So ABC was going to bring it back as something called Witches, Warlocks, and Werewolves.
Wow.
And Serling said no. Well, that's exactly what happened 4 years later with Night Gallery, as far as being more of a horror stance.
Yes.
Now, the other thing I was going to mention, and this is where I think Circle of Fear and even Ghost Story could have played a part. We were talking a moment ago about rounding out that magic 100 episode minimum number for syndication.
Yeah. Right.
Night Gallery did that by incorporating into it a short-lived series called The Sixth Sense.
That's right. That's right.
And I always hated when I sat down to watch Night Gallery and they had The Sixth Sense on.
Yes.
Yeah. Wouldn't it have been wild if this show, Ghost Story and Circle of Fear, had taken that spot within Night Gallery?
Absolutely. And it would have fit. Yes, it would have fit right in. One of the things that, and I haven't noticed this myself from the episodes that I've looked at, but what I was reading, one of the ways that Circle of Fear went off the rails was that they started incorporating more tales of murder, tales of, the perfect murder, but it doesn't work out. And that kind of anthology had existed forever. Alfred Hitchcock Presents, Suspense, Pursuit. There had been this kind of story. Playhouse 90 did a bunch of these. This kind of story has its roots in radio with shows like Suspense and The Whistler and Murder in the Air. So tales of murder would often get mixed into stories on, there was a show on radio called The Witch's Tale. I'm like, oh, good. I'm going to hear about witches. Not necessarily. Sometimes it's just about some insurance agent who knocks off his wife. Sometimes it's just as simple as that. So yeah, you're right. If they had stayed in their lane back in those days, it would have given us a much deeper show to look at when we're looking at Ghost Story / Circle of Fear. But on the other hand, there we are.
There we are. And, I dare say that we made a comment earlier that Sebastian Cabot didn't fit the hip and with it profile of the time. But you know what? I think the show did itself a disservice by completely excising him and changing. I mean, it was basically another series.
Yeah. Yeah.
It had almost nothing in common because I've watched a little bit of both at this point, and
yeah.
It's too bad. I think as Winston Essex, there was a quality there and a charm that was lost when they rebranded.
I Absolutely agree. Even that little interview we were watching with Sebastian Cabot, he
Yeah.
was just a charming man, and he did bring a certain charm to the show as Mr. Winston Essex. That's such a I just love this. Hello, I'm Winston Essex of the Mansfield Arms, or whatever it was called, Mansfield House.
Mansfield House. It looks suspiciously like the Hotel del Coronado behind me.
You might as well have come out and said, hello, my name is Mansfield House, and this is the Winston Essex. Like all those words are interchangeable. Not great writing is what we're saying. William Castle, again, the man who gave the world the movie The Tingler.
That in itself was a career-making move.
It was. Okay, you know what? We've come to the end of the show, so I do want to. This is the old ad that we've been running. Sorry, I haven't gotten the new one together yet, Joe. That's my bad. That is my bad. Folks, you gotta check out joetownsend.com. All of the great stories and novels written by our good friend Joe. Just imagine that. You have a friend, Joe Townsend, who's a great novelist. And your latest film, of course, is Hell and Wellness. We don't have to yell. Hell and
Thank
Wellness.
you, sir. So much.
Joe, how would you quickly describe Hell and Wellness?
Hell and Wellness is my most recent novel, as you say, out there now. And I tell you, it's a very personal work for me. I describe it as part fiction, part memoir, based on things that have happened to me over the last few years as far as my health and my experiences during that journey. Some fairly horrific, others more life-redeeming. So please, I think you'll find it a great read. I hope you'll check it out, as well as the other dark and bizarre works of Joe Townsend.
And I cannot tell you enough how real this all was for Joe. We, his friends, were sitting back like, oh, I hope you're okay, Joe. I hope everything's going to go all right. And he was going through hell during this period. And when he told us about it, Joe, you were so upbeat. You were so yeah, I'm going to turn it into a novel. It's going to be called Hell and Wellness.
First the hell, then the wellness.
Exactly. And thank goodness we're currently going through the wellness.
Absolutely. And John, let me say thank you and everyone else that were our friends and colleagues so much for your love, friendship, and support. It was a big instrumental part of getting me through it all. Thank you.
God bless, because you went through so much of that on your own. Any little help that any of us could have offered is yours to have. We're going to say goodnight. Barry the Gay says, good night, Mr. Walters.
John, shall we try out our tagline just to see how it sticks to the wall?
Yes, I don't remember any of it, so you do all of it.
Well, I'll do the first part. You do the next part. You'll remember it after
remember
the first part. I'm just going to say this.
Yeah.
Thank you for watching, gang, and until next week, when we will meet again on the same retro channel.
Same retro time.
Excellent.
9 p.m. on the East Coast, 5 p.m. on the West Coast. And here, I can add this.
All right.
Right now, this is our closing video. I feel like
it can stay that way as far as I'm concerned. I love it.
It is fun. I'm enjoying it. Hey, Retro Rangers, join us next week. Little sneak peek about next week. This was a show, this show right that we just did, a lot of it came from Joe. This whole idea next week came from Joe, and I love it. I love it because it comes right from my childhood. We are going to be taking a very different kind of look at the show Happy Days. So it doesn't have to be scary all the time. It doesn't always have to be some horror or some science fiction. Happy Days, one of the most influential shows of the 70s, which is hilarious because it's about the 50s. And we're going to show you things you've never seen. We're going to show you things you forgot. And it is going to be a blast. We're going to laugh all the way through it, just like we do on Retro Rangers. Joe, thank you so much for another great episode.
John, thank you so much. And all I can say is to cap this all off is,
hey. Hey. Good night, everybody.